struggling with your prop firm challenge? Then I have just the thing for you. Over the years, a lot of people have reached out to me and let me know how much they're struggling with prop firms and always ask me what bot do I recommend or how they can do it. Today, I've come up with a solution for prop firms, and it's non-grid, it's non-martingale, and it can indeed keep your drawdown low enough for prop firms. Now, this is my personal in-house. I built it, and I'm going to show you guys what it's all about. So just before I show you some of the tests and stuff, by the way, this was a $10,000 account we ran over a year. So this one did 17K profit, which is 170%. This one came out at 7% drawdown. Now, before you think that's bad, let me show you how much I'm risking. I am risking 3% per trade, meaning that if we brought this down to 2% a trade, it would easily be below 10%. Now, this is a breakout bot that uses a quant formula to essentially measure momentum and avoid fakeouts. It runs on 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, you name it. The beauty of this bot is, let's say you find something you really like on the 1 hour. So again, all these tests are running 3%. So you probably run 1 or 2. But this is only 77 trades in a year. So there's set files that'll give you 150. There's set files that'll give you 200. I teach you guys how to get this. The beauty of this is you can have 3 or 4 windows open and run multiple time frames at the same time. So we've built in all kinds of features. Obviously the calendar for news. We built in some prop firm specific actually enhancements, which you can use to make sure you don't go over your daily buffer and whatnot and stay within your drawdown limits. So just to show you guys a bit about what I'm talking about. So this is the kind of set file I like. I like to see a nice equity curve, and essentially I prefer seeing a bot that wins a little more than it loses and has a lower hit rate. So this bot's capable of producing everything from 60% win rate to 90% win rate. If you go too high of a win rate though, the wins are smaller and the losses are bigger. This one's kind of a balanced set file that I really like. So this to me is a beautiful equity curve, and this is essentially what I look for. So if we go back and look, again, like I said, this one's coming in at 7% drawdown. The reason for that is we can't actually test news, even though I have a calendar built in, which is right from MetaTrader. For whatever reason, MetaTrader doesn't actually let you test news in the backtester. Even though they built it, they don't let you do it. You guys can take it up with them. This was likely a really bad slippage during news candle or Powell or something like that. And obviously if you have your news filter on and let's say you have it set so it doesn't trade 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, it'll actually kill the position so you're not even in a trade during red folder news. And this is the only thing with the back test that we can't test. So obviously we wouldn't be worried about these slippage candles, so you wouldn't be experiencing these extra high drawdowns. Just to show you some of the other tests, what did this one come out at? This one came out at just over 5%. Again, this one's also 3% risk. This guy here, so this one only came out at 2.7% drawdown, which obviously tells me I can crank the risk on this. That's only about 3% a month, so I could pretty near almost double this and probably get it to produce 5% a month easy. And this is again where I was saying, guys, it's really important to think outside the box and just understand that you can indeed run 1, 2, or 3 time frames at the same time, and it'll let you hit these targets in a more efficient manner. Now, one of the main reasons people fail prop challenges is psychology issues. This is something automation tackles, as you can't overtrade with it. And just to show you some of the settings we have too. So this particular set file only runs at maximum 1 trade per day. So we're looking at the first column here, guys. Ignore the stuff on the right. That's just optimization settings. So you can see this particular set file is max 1 trade per day. So let's say you had 2 or 3 windows open on different time frames, all set maximum 1 trade per day, and you set all your risk to 1.5%. Worst case scenario, you lost 3 trades, 4.5%. Is it likely that a worst case scenario would occur? Probably not, but you can plan for it and make sure with the features we built in. So there's max trades per day. We have the drawdown safety buffers. There's your profit targets, max daily loss, stop all trading when phase target met. Like, we've built in quite a few cool features. If you enable phase profit target, let's say you set this to 10%, and instead of closing you out at 10%, this would actually close you out at 10% plus the safety buffer. So we've really designed this to be hands-free. Now, while I include the set files for this prop firm bot, I also teach you guys how to optimize and get broker-specific settings. So if you take the same set file across 4 different prop firms and run the exact same set file and basically all the same settings, same risk, it'll actually produce 4 different results. The reason is, if you actually ever look at all the different brokers, sometimes one broker will break a high, the next one won't. RSI readings will be different, volume will be different, and the bots will actually produce completely different results on different brokers. This is where every bot fails. Everybody's like, here's your set file, set and forget. We got your money. We don't care. I go above and beyond. I give you the set file I run. I teach you how to get your own that's broker specific. And what this also does is makes you in the loop. So if you use a set file that's 6 months old, you're using a set file that's no longer coherent with the current price action. To give you an example, last year gold's ADR was 200 to 300 pips a day. This year we got Trump. It's normal for gold to move 500 or 600 or 700 pips a day. Now, do you think it's wise to use a set file from last year when gold is clearly moving twice as much? Obviously not. So this is why I decided to train you guys. So just to show you kind of what this bot actually functions like, let's see. Why don't we run a visual test and you guys can see for yourself. So these are pretty cool. So you can kind of see live in the visual. All right, so we're gonna just speed it up a bit here. This one starts off a bit slow. Again, like I said, you guys would adjust the risk. This is 3% risk. You could easily risk more or less. Do you see how aggressive and fast the stop losses are moving? So this is a custom risk management system I designed. It's a smart trailing system, and you can kind of see how it'll capitalize on the big moves, but if price comes against you, the bot quickly exits out. Now, what this does for you is it allows you to keep your equity curve up, and eventually it's only a matter of time when you catch a few big moves, and you can kind of see how efficient it is, and you can see how there's a buy stop and a sell stop. So what it'll do is whatever trade it's close to, that'll be basically your proper stop and TP. The trade that's further away might actually have a bigger stop loss, but as price moves towards it, that stop will automatically reduce. So that is part of the smart trailing system that I've designed, and this is like quite cool. Now, what's really sweet about this is not a grid bot, this is not a martingale. You can see here at the bottom, we're never in more than 1 trade at a time, and worst case scenario, you hit a full stop loss at whatever you're risking and you don't blow the whole account. So this is the advantage of a breakout system. Like I said, this is just one time frame. You can run multiple time frames and you can really see how well it performs and how the drawdown doesn't get that high. So this is like the cool part about building bots is you get to test them, you get to fine tune them. You can totally run anything that you're comfortable with. So this is kind of like one set file. So I think this one's this is a 1 hour. So by the way, I've ran like a gazillion tests. Like these are all optimizations with probably thousands of test results. There's just so many different ways to test. And let me show you how different it'll look when you run a completely different set file. You'll see the same bot function completely different. And this one will probably be more one-sided depending on the settings you run. Some of the set files you run, it actually won't even target the other side. It'll only take a buy stop or a sell stop. And that really comes down to the settings that you guys would pick. And this is where optimization's obviously a thing of beauty. So this one, I think it didn't start off the greatest. but it does kind of pick up its pace and start doing quite well, actually. And that's the beauty of the smart trailing system. You're capitalizing on the large moves without giving back your profits. And this is, again, the beauty of using a non-grid system. For those of you that are looking for more trades, there's going to be different set files you'll be able to get where, it'll produce double the trades in a year. Or you can run 2 or 3 timeframes and windows at the same time. For example, you run a 1-hour window, a 2-hour window, a half-hour window, and a 15-minute window. And essentially, something's always going to be finding you trades. This is quite filtered and only looking for higher quality, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys how the bot works. But yeah, there is many different ways to basically beat your prof challenge. By the way, this different name here, Precision Breakout versus the Precision Apex, it's the exact same bot. I changed the name when the latest release version was basically done for you guys. Just to give you a few more examples, so this one here was a 20-minute set file and it averages 4% a month, but only 3.6% drawdown. Again, multiply that over a couple of time frames and there's just a gazillion different parameters. Like, I can't even remember all the tests I've run. Like something like this, I could turn it down to like 2.5 or 2% risk, easily come in under. A lot of the drawdowns I found were news spikes. So with the actual news filtering in a live market, it wouldn't happen. This was not a nice test, but yeah, I think generally everything 1 hour, half hour, 2 hour, 30 minutes, all performed well. But you guys kind of see the idea, you see the advantage of this. And just out of curiosity, what do we get here? You can see how vastly different some of these files come out to. This is a 15-minute. Let's see what we can get out of 15 minutes. It's like even that's not bad. This is not bad. Again, you apply this to a couple of time frames and it'll do quite well. So this one didn't, a little bit flat at the start, but not bad. So this is the kind of set file I actually don't love. Even though this is a really good profit factor. Actually, no, this one's fine. You can see here the average profit trade. I always want the profit trades to be a little larger than the loss. So this one's 72% win rate, and the trades are essentially the wins are bigger than the losses, and that's what you want. One thing I was gonna say too is you notice how small these losses are, even though we're risking $300 a trade. This particular set file didn't actually ever lose a full loss, and that's the beauty of the smart risk management system we built in. Some of the set files will take the full hits. It all depends how you guys set it. So if we look at, let's actually just run this one off of visual mode. This is actually the kind of set file I prefer. This wouldn't concern me at all. I've ran bots long enough. I know flat spots are part of the game. I know drawdowns are part of the game. I don't think this one's got very aggressive trailing compared to the rest of them, and that all comes down to the set file you have. Or I shouldn't say it doesn't have aggressive trailing. This one does take bigger losses. So let's look. Yeah, so this one here, the average loss is $389. The average win is $558, and we're running a 65% win rate. What I found is the sweet spot is everything between that 62 to 68% win rate, and then you're usually getting larger wins than losses, and that's what I prefer. I've gotten set files on some of these timeframes that came out to like 92% win rate, but then it'll be like a really nice equity curve, and as soon as you lose, it's just a big dip, and I don't personally like that. But this is something that I would show you guys and teach you guys for those of you that want to get involved in the prop passing using bots. Also, you run this on multiple time frames, you will have a more steady equity curve, so it won't be so many flat spots, because another time frame might have a stronger climb in here, another time another set file might have a weaker climb in here. So you can actually kind of offset it and have a very gradual incline. And that is kind of the idea that you want to get to. Just to show you guys what we're talking about here, this is essentially 4 strategies combined. You see some of the max drawdowns got a bit high. So this one I would essentially obviously turn down. So a lot of these are actually all 3% risk. But you can see how some of the drawdowns do get higher. So this one would easily stay in your prop firm. This one would be fine for your prop firm. So those 2 time frames together would have no issues. This one, you'd probably turn the risk down a bit, and this one, you would turn the risk down a bit. So I want to show you what these look like together when you put them in a portfolio. So now you have 394 trades. If I combine all these, and you're only running 3.8% drawdown, your annual drawdown for the whole year is 9.3%. Chances are that wouldn't even blow your account. You would be under. And this is again 3% risk. If you turn that down to 2%, you would have no problem because you're allowed 5% a day at most props. So it can definitely be engineered that you stay under it. This is kind of what I wanted to show you guys. What I was talking about earlier, how if you combine them all, you get a smoother equity curve and less flat spots. So what I like to do is find something that's very nice equity curve and, you know, a little bit over 1R. And then in this case, you probably would want something that's a little higher win rate and a little bit less than 1R. And you can kind of combine all of them together. And this is kind of how you get that smooth equity curve. And essentially, there's not really any big dips in this. Like, you don't see any sudden spikes down and spikes back up. This is the beauty of not using a martingale bot. So you can see overall, we're looking at a 72% win rate and a profit factor of 2.62, which is insane. If you got half of that, you could do pretty well. It means you're beating the market. So this is pretty good. Yeah, just so you guys can see the actual numbers and the list of trades. So this is the beauty of combining everything. If you look at our cumulative P&L here on the right, like it never really dips down. It's just kind of steady going up. So this is why I like combining time frames and getting different strategies essentially. It's the same strategy, but it's different parameters. So, you know, your 30-minute might trade on a day that the 1 hour doesn't, and you're just kind of offsetting. So this is kind of how you equalize it. You can see here for the most part, there's not a lot of red. So that's the advantage of running multiple time frames. So to show you guys what I mean, what I took here was 4 different strategies, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them all in one portfolio. Now you can kind of see the individual strategies do pretty well overall, but they do have losing months. When you combine them all, what you're gonna notice is it's more balanced. So this one here with 4 different set files on 4 different windows at once. So your overall drawdown's 3.8% annual max drawdown. So this would most likely mean in total, not in one day. So this would actually keep a prop account. Again, these are 3% risk. So if you ran something like 2% risk, this would be a very, very balanced set file. Now to show you guys the equity chart, so you can kind of see how running multiple time frames together will kind of get a nice gradual climb, and then you get quite a few trades this way too. And if you just look at the cumulative P&L on this, like it climbed quite nice, and there's not a lot of drawdown. Like that's below 10% drawdown overall. Again, I like to test with 3%. It's just a standard for me. For you guys, you'll probably test with 1% or 2. So obviously the drawdown would be less, the profits would be less. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to show you guys. So by the time you guys see this video, this prop bot will be released. It will be live. There will be a full training video on it. And for those of you that are looking to take advantages of the prop firm space, this is pretty much the best solution I've seen. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.